go. Good evening, councillors. Your good attendance. On the basis that if one or other of you wasn't here, it's not on this. We have apologies for absence from councillors Chester, Davis, and Clark. And we have no representations from interested parties. Any declarations of interest?
No. I need to declare that I should abstain from discussion on 24380102 since I know both of the applicants.
Right.
That's going to be a short discussion, isn't it?
Sorry?
That's going to be a short discussion.
The minutes of our last meeting, 23rd of July, have been circulated. Strangely, persons present were myself, Councillor Chester, Councillor Davis, and Councillor Wade. Councillors Chester, Davis, and Wade are not present. So far as I'm aware, there is minutes represented in the record. Despite you were not there. I'm happy
But those that won't have had the opportunity to.
and nobody has come back to me or Lisa as far as I'm aware. It's our query. So, thank you.
So you said you proposed them,
I'll
second them.
Seconded by,
Us.
so, yeah, all those in favour.
Thank you.
It's an unusual meeting, as much as there's more other items on the agenda than there are. There's certainly plenty of applications to consider. And the first of those is trees, tree. It is trees at 26 Burn Road, which is actually Charing Grove. And it comes before us because they are subject to POs. And on the screen, you can now see a location plan which shows that the two trees are more or less adjacent to the road. They're described on the application as being part of the cluster of trees. And so, actually, if you look at the second photo, more than the first one, go to the next one, you'll see that they're not particularly well. Mr. Bennett, on behalf of the others, describes these as being dead. Hence the suggestion that they should be felled. And because they're part of the cluster, they're proposing to plant replacements over time. This seems to me to be a classic, so long as the tree obviously is happy. Very surprised that the tree is already happy unless he disagreed with the conclusion that these trees were that unwell. I'm not an expert to the photograph. Conclusion, to say. No objection, subject to tree officer. That brings us to the second condition. And this is, in essence, the tap and kitchen. The application comes in not from Tap and Kitchen Limited, because the land which is going to be developed is actually in the ownership of Mrs. Simpson and Burnett. Albeit, so Tap and Kitchen Limited for intents and purposes. Back in 2020, as we may recall, we were hit by COVID, and dining indoors became the government anxious to try to save some of the hospitality industry encourage restaurants to create outdoor spaces so that people could go and eat outdoors and not break the rules. And the Tapping Kitchen took advantage of this and essentially created a temporary structure which was obviously intended at the into school. The Tapping Kitchen seems to be a pretty popular place. Area also seems to be a pretty popular place. The drawback from the applicant's point of view is that it is in essence external and as such it probably is utilisable for a year or so. But over winter months, people aren't necessarily going to be flocking to go and sit outside. So the plan, in essence, is to create a new permanent structure, single story, to replace what is currently there. And there are, I couldn't believe it. Like 40 odd documents there, possibly 40 odd documents there.
That could have done it properly.
Well, interestingly enough, I think they have done it properly, but it's also very obvious that they've done it themselves.
Yeah.
In terms of if you look at things like the impact statement and the design and access statement, they're very obviously homemade documents. And I don't deprive them, it's actually the way they've done it is pretty good. If we can go back up, and there is elevations proposed. If we just go through those three. So there is the extent. It's single story, it has a roof essentially to match, but it's going to have skylights in the roof. If you look at the next one,
So it's not substantial.
it is relatively substantial.
It's not a problem.
What you're end up with is a look,
Yeah.
if you like, whereby to here it is all glass more or less. If you go to the next one, it won't surprise you to learn that it is on the other side. In terms of materials, it's going to utilise stone to match some of the existing building. It's using roofing that is similar and cladding, which is essentially similar. So the roofs are in the anthracite grey, and so the aluminium frames and windows, etc. Probably, I mean, there isn't a lot to say.
No, apart from, well done.
The access doesn't change.
No.
The applicants say, look, we've got 84 parking spaces. That's more than we usually use. And certainly coming into everything will probably show an increased use of what goes on there currently. There's capacity for it. There won't be any incidents in relation to vehicles entering the Wexford. Slightly surprises me because it's actually quite a difficult place for coming out onto station
Close
road.
that entrance, but could have, which is in front of the brewery.
Yeah.
They've got that big gate there, haven't they? People go around the back, which I think is safe. Anyway,
Yes.
it's a bit awkward at the beginning. But
In any event, in much of an issue, it's going to be broadly done in an environmentally friendly way, so using sustainable materials, trying to ensure it's a very thermally efficient.
I mean, this is all the same people who got the brewery, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, it's insane. I really want to know what that place used to look like, where it was our schools.
Interestingly enough, you're right.
It's brilliant.
When you look at British impact
Yes.
statement and design and access statement, what they've done, I think, quite sensibly, is they took the original documents that were submitted when and then they provided as a counterpoint to that their own document about this specific change. Visually, I can't see any issue with it. I have to say, I mean, I was one of those who was pretty sceptical about this when it started. I know the thing was taking this, but I was a bit concerned. Is this the right place for this? I think that's prove me wrong.
But it's been a system.
It
It's to encourage.
and it's like you say.
Wish they did again.
What's the thing we said again is look at what the entrance to the town has improved.
Yes.
Sort of immediately opposite is the sort of fostering solutions and so. It's pretty well maintained, but of course the garage is going on residential eventually. What was the low cost supermarket?
Just the cheap.
Burgess, something like that.
Yeah,
That's what we read about residential. Apart as they come from the riverside. We approach the town and looks
yes.
much neater. Some of the basis, it's difficult to see any planning reason. From the point of view of the town and interests. Seems to me to be a bit of a no-brainer.
It's not right now. I just think we should. I want to say that we are. I think what they've done.
I think that not only to say no objection, but we actually positively supported it.
That's like it's, you can tell.
So I think we will actually positively support the application towards them for the sensitive way in which it's being developed and is going to be developed. And that's strangely enough, it's August, even for August, this is not. That gets rid of the two planning applications before us. You'll see various planning applications. You'll notice that you were building up a general objection, you know, coming into those, all were answered. So, very rapidly, we come to three items in the agenda, each of which, so rather driven by myself. Two meetings ago, the issues around the conservation area. And last time we thought that perhaps we should be looking at raising this formally with NNC. Because that document, the Council Conservation Area Capital Appraisal, was actually drafted in 2000, and in fact, in 2010, as of those money proposals. The documents themselves talk about 5-yearly reviews as being optimal. Historic England, in their guidance paper, Ice Note Conservation Area Designation Management, point out that there is a statutory duty to keep these things under review, and the council seems to be optimal. And here we are, 15 years after it was drafted, 14 years after it came in, and so far as I am aware, it hasn't been reviewed. And certainly if it has, it's not involved this council. And one of the things that documentation says in its advice note, Historic England, that perhaps these reviews can involve the local community, which is represented in essence by us. So I circulated over the weekend a draft letter
Yeah, so,
which says, and conservation area character appraisal was prepared on behalf of the Eastern Hampshire District Council by the Conservation Studio in 2009. EMC's annual conservation management proposals were produced the following year. Conservation Studio, Section 1.6, monitoring states Eastern Hampshire Council will seek to review these documents, taking into account the policy and the emerging LDF. It goes on to say that emerging LDF has emerged from history, and government policies we're going to learn in a few minutes is check the graphs.
yeah.
So it goes on to say, it is possible that the local community and the guidance of a consultant will carry out this review. This would enable the community to become more involved in the process and would raise public consciousness of the issues, including the problems associated with enforcement. So part of the PTC is when no reviews have been carried out in the process. Down with the Historic England advice note. Section 7 states that local planning authorities must review the conservation areas from time to time. Planning listed buildings and conservation areas Act 1990, and that resources permitting every 5 years is ideal. I don't think we can argue because of resources we can't do it. Every once in 15 years in circumstances. Review frequency will vary according to the two big developments undergoing the coming. That's all your information. So OGC would like conservation officers to engage with the council to discuss a possible review of the conservation area. So the question is, do we write a letter in those or similar terms? It's not saying that there should be a review or that anything needs to change, but it would open us up to having a conversation. Doubtless we would get some sort of straight feedback. And I wouldn't just have to go to the tribunals or somebody else to assist us with the exercise. But I'd like to think that the conservation officer would be helpful so that if we did produce something, we can separate by him and make sure that he's happy with it before we actually go public. And the process would assume that if the conservation area so engages with us, this committee will do work on it. It will then go to full council with it. This may be not a documented exercise, to say the least. Eventually, full council will presumably adopt the proposed review, and then we go back to and say we looked at it. This is what we think. So we'll get them to make changes. If changes we think that and one of the things that triggered it, but it also led to a certain discussion was whether the conservation area should be expanded to include that field. So we floated it, there was a very mixed view about it because of course at the time we were in the process, it happened now we have is now accepted as council. But of course, if it becomes part of the conservation area, the obligations upon us are going to become potentially greater than they will be otherwise. So that's what we're at.
Other areas of interest.
Well, you look at the original.
That's, this letter is just saying.
Let's not go into detail. No.
what may be done.
No, it's very good. I just thought that there's a lot of.
It's a very expensive document.
Yeah.
An introduction, it talks about the conservation area designation, it talks about location, landscape setting, historical development, spatial, street codes, areas of the conservation area, character areas themselves, and then various issues, which you identified, 10. Now, maybe we look at that, we think there was absolutely nothing we would want to change in it.
We've done a really.
Same token, we would, even if that was a result, be able to say to the town, no, yeah, conservation area, we looked at it, but we want to change, except I'm very surprised. Some change straight update. But do other people feel that we should proceed along these lines?
Do you get my vote?
All we're doing here is recommending go to the council anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, it will be discussed in the full council, let's just put it to full council. I can't see that they're going to object to it. My personal view is that the wording of the letter is more than adequate. It essentially raises the issue that we haven't had a review. Why not? Can we have one? You know,
Please don't sort of refuse it.
I would personally add a few comments here and there, but
Yeah.
we can do that at full council.
Indeed, I mean, do you think that they're going to full council is?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, even if it's, I'm quite happy to. I envisage that you just said.
It'll be very quickly, but.
We want to put it before full council, it's only delaying it,
The numbers are they want all these.
but after 15 years, another 3 weeks. So,
No,
right, if you could perhaps let them know that needs to go on the agenda.
we've approved it. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so we've approved the principle. The next thing was the neighbourhood plan.
Yes.
As it happened, well, two things happened. Our new MP was in town last Thursday. The mayor had suggested that if I can possibly get there, I could get a chat to him because I'd spoken to him about it when he drinks it. Unfortunately, worked in one, as it happened. A parish councillor, from my neighbouring parish, chair of their council, spoke to him about being chair of the parish council, he's good citizen, so parish council, and he kind of fed back to me in his conversation with Mr. Barron. Now, when we started floating this idea, I think it started floating before we actually even had a general election. We've now had a general election, we've now got a new government, we've got a new government that's already got a performance. And as we are going to see in a minute, that may or may not have implications for neighbourhood plans. So what I had suggested was that a letter went from the council to the MP of maybe where town council's previous attempt failed at the examination stage following a period of reflection and taking into account recent developments. Council is considering whether to try again, but is concerned that intended planning reforms might render such an exercise futile. If central government is going to insist on widespread residential development and site views of local communities as the site and the size of such development, and the other things that will be carried out effectively. And the motivation to once again consider the plan is that the current manager is intended to cover the period to 2031, and it's 3 sites for residential development, or 2 which is planning issue. Work companies underway, while the third is planning. This means there's an opportunity exists for the council and our consultation with the town to develop a long-term plan potential sites suitable for future development and for identifying structure developments necessary to enable such further residential developments to take place. We've tried so far without any success and see to engage with us in some preliminary discussions around costs. Would you be interested in getting yourselves together for discussions on possible meet up with us? I got the impression that you probably thought that it was all quite a thing to be supportive of neighbourhood plans. Although I'm not so sure it is getting so much attention to. But on that basis, I've got a feeling that if we ask him to do this, he probably will do something more. So I might take some down. If we could have a meeting at which representatives of this council, NMC, and MPs sit down, and just see where is it something that you do or don't want to explore? Because I still that the local two has already used up it. Sites, there is nothing else to be done. We're under pressure. The developers can sit in their hands for 2031 report. The town has some sort of steer on what it should be, where it should be, what infrastructure should go with it, so if possible.
I think it's worth it. Because we don't know what's happening. So you can't stop away to put this back even further. If they retain the neighbourhood plans and document community, do we have any defence that we can have? And I think it's worth pursuing. It was worth pursuing the first time. But it was such a broad time, wasn't it? It was all going in detail.
Without reaching things, we found ourselves, in fact, in conflict with the
Yes, we did.
that. The thinking this time is we are both trying to initiate it. Maybe we'll be able to have a greater than
There's no reason why we should never make it.
no.
And why it shouldn't be approved, but
It's just asking for meeting, you can say yes or no.
yeah,
And it doesn't stop us
no,
continuing to approach it. So
There's no harm.
I think the two for the next full council agenda is to look at that as well.
Does it need to go to full council, do you think?
I think this one is not.
I actually saw it the other way around because this is our long-term council who wants to do and we want to continuate and he's saying that getting involved with us at the council level rather than the committee of the council is an issue, whereas the previous matter is very much it's very much a planning committee issue. Let's face it, full council to leave the conservation area to this committee. We just won't want to get involved. It will delegate it back to us.
Like we get something from the general purpose. See, we normally go, did they approve it?
My preference is yes, 20,000. You can then have it come out from the town bar. There. Yes. You all happy with that?
I'm very happy.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Next,
There's another
at the last meeting, and timing is interesting, which was on Tuesday, the 23rd of July. I had talked about new government, I had talked about upcoming changes in planning policies, and perhaps we should draft a letter to the MPs, etc. And so the theory was, yes, except that 7 days after the government launched a consultation on its planning.
Oh, yeah.
That consultation runs until the 24th of September. Now, we have another planning committee meeting on the 17th. We have a full council meeting on the 24th. The council could endorse something, but it would have to be ready to go immediately after the meeting, because it has to be there by a certain time of day. In fact, I have to double check, because if it's 11:45 a.m., it's supposed to be 11:45 p.m., we can't do it. It's too late. Which does not leave us very long.
David, sorry to interrupt, it's the other way round. The full council is on the 17th and your planning will be on the 24th.
You're right. Sorry. Yes, so the full council can look at it, the full council goes back to us. But the question then is, I think it is 11:45 p.m., which means that in theory, planning could have something ready to go, and it's happy with it, it could go. It's leaving it slightly late. It is one hell of a document. And it poses 106 questions. I'm not suggesting that this council necessarily wants to look at 106, but I do think we will be interested in commenting. And it's just funny. This has been retrospective. It's good on that. And much of them say, why not? Why not? And one of the things that we do in consulting is high fees generally. They're talking about some swinging increases for the cost of certain applications, and because what we want them to do is be cost neutral. And what they say is that it costs them so much to deal with each planning application. Well, should be correct. It probably involves quite a lot. So, and in any, why not take the opportunity of planning reform to encourage people not to put in retrospective applications, but get it done right first, so they don't have to pay. But this whole area of planning fees may be something that you want to consider. House sector applications, I think they're suggesting 150% increase in cost. Now, maybe the risk there is that if you push it, you take a chance and not actually apply it to what they should be. But there are all sorts of other things. And I had a look at the document, I didn't have to read through all of it, I was sort of skimming it. And I didn't see a great deal about practice. But of course, there's all the widely trailed stuff. Like, we should go back to mandatory housing targets. So, central government, sure you have to do X number of houses. That's quite interesting. They say it's in the you have to do X number of houses. Actually, a simple will do. Which the planners absolutely no control whatsoever. People let them build houses if they think themselves in profit. And
You're not going to
never going to change that. But there's all this issue about, there's all this widely trailed stuff about wanting to encourage building brownfield land. Is great. Just official green belt. But we do, for example, a strip of green land is between the physical village
see
Which-
that.
both like to see maintained. A large chunk of that land is believed to be the ownership of a person formerly in the National Building Code. Showing by so maybe as a council, we ought to look at trying to protect communities from coalescence, shall we say.
I think it's slightly going off point. I think as far as this meeting is concerned, the decision we have to make is, are the town council going to make a response to the consultation? If so, pragmatically, given the dates of this committee and the council, how are we going to do it? I think the key issue is not what have we yet answered, it's going to be judging, how we do it. Because realistically, with full council meeting on the 17th, they need to have a document in front of them as to draft responses to 106 questions,
But we check to see to get into
in theory, in order to sign off. I actually think that's impractical. I think what we should be deciding, and I don't know how we can do this without a council meeting on the 17th, is that realistically, I think we need to be making a recommendation to the full council to say we need a subgroup, to be no more than 2 or 3 people, in order to be given the responsibility to put it in the consultation. And the full council, I think, the full council are not going to, with the best of them in the world, I think the time and the attitude to go through the consultation on the 17th. I think they have to give that responsibility probably to 2 or 3 members of council.
Can't the mayor and you discuss that?
Well,
I mean, it's good to have some.
the reason I started making some specific points was to demonstrate that we may want as a council to do it. Was to demonstrate that we are a take on concentration. Councillor Shorter is of course quite right. It's extraordinarily annoying that consultation was launched just after this meeting, so the first opportunity we get to discuss it is at this meeting. And in that next meeting, we've got to get it done, because we certainly not going to be able to get to them. So the extension really is like we might have done with some planning. And it's also undoubted that, let's face it, if there was a full council meeting next week, if we said, do you want us to respond? I am 99% certain, of course, yes, please. And then they'll say, could the planning committee please deal with this now? Which is fine, but then you've got activities as well. Now, only 3 of us want to start this evening. The document is readily accessible. You can go to the internet and you can check 6 questions. I didn't toy with the idea because there's a bit right at the end where I think they actually print, list of 6 questions as opposed to in the body of the document. And I thought, try and ask Lisa to print all 106 off this evening. But how practically would we be able to do it? It seems to me that delegating it to one person, and it would be every day, is going to be correct. To say the least. Having too many people either, so that is right. Probably a small group would be ideal, a small group to meet. They're purely practical basis. next week, so I can't meet during the week next week. Which means that we're into the week commencing the 9th, which would mean that we probably have to do a special meeting during the course of the week, produce something by Thursday in order to get it on the agenda to the full council meeting, which is amazing time.
Can I make a suggestion?
Suggestions, which is quite. I think I want to do it, obviously, we see it.
So that could be the night, and I don't know, so that's working. The suggestion is that depends, I'm happy to look at it. And I'm happy to say, well, I'm prepared to answer, we should divide the workload rather than trying to do it with one person taking full responsibility. If we could split the work into smaller units, it makes it easier for the people to do it. And then discuss the responses. So if you're happy to be like the person who can ask for advice, I'm happy to fill in part of the questionnaire on behalf, but I need someone I can talk to, who I can say, well, they put this in, what do you think?
I mean, let's suppose what we said, right? This is only 3 weeks at the moment, divide 106 by 3, to you.
This is right.
And of course, it could be that we said, well, it takes the first 39, it takes the next 35, etc. But of course, you may find in group 1, realistically, this council only wants to maybe contribute to 2 of the questions. And then you find that in group 2, somebody wants to contribute to 20 out of the 35. So it's quite tricky.
We need to get this.
The alternative, suspect me, for everybody on the committee, those present and those who are not, to look at the document, look at the 106 questions, and simply feedback to me. Which of these 106 do we think we should be responding to? Because if all of us, or most of us say, there's no need to respond to this,
Yeah.
we can get rid of it. Then we can figure out what to respond to, and what to sort of say, right, you look at those, and so on.
I think pragmatically, we need a relatively simple process.
Yes, please.
And what I would like to propose is this, that first of all, we, the planning committee tonight, resolve to contact the full council, alert them to the need or what, as we see, the desire to fill in this consultation and the conflict about dates and meetings and what have you. And essentially ask full council's permission for a subgroup to be formed. We name people, the chair of this committee, the deputy chair of this committee, and one or other of the mayor and deputy. And we 3 people will then meet and essentially do it on
Still be done.
I think pragmatically there isn't.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's going to go backwards and forwards, it's going to be like a.
The council's a good idea to just.
And as long as we can get 3 people in the same room for 2 hours, we can crack on and do it.
Would it not be worth taking a third each,
I think,
or do you
I
think?
I've not looked through the 106 questions, to be honest. So I think until we actually look at that, I think we can actually provide an answer. Because it may be the way they've structured it, you end up having contradictions, if you see what I mean. I think you've got to literally go to full stop.
You start at the beginning and finish at the end.
That's it.
I mean, it seems to me that there is a good deal of logic to it. You have to find a way. I need to contact mayor and deputy mayor following the meeting.
But I don't
See,
think it's
all the committee and not person. Because look, that meeting we'll discuss this. This is what we're going to do, and I'll see if we can sign it together. Appreciate for us somewhere, somehow, to this. I think what I may well do, because I'm actually on holiday next week. I'm staying in a landmark place that has no televisions and anything else. So my evening entertainment could well be. Yeah.
Just thinking, David, so although Emma will be publishing the full council agenda on the 12th, Thursday the 12th, she quite often does forward documents if they're not ready, so you don't necessarily have to have it ready for the 12th. So
The
that
item could be on the agenda and the paper could be to follow.
Yeah.
So it may give us just a little.
gives you a few more days and an extra weekend, doesn't it? So.
Yeah. Which could be very valuable. Okay, you all happy with that?
No, I'm very happy with it, because it's,
Did you try and capture that, Lisa?
Yeah, so I've got it as you're proposing it, Max, to
Oh.
contact full council and nominate, David, yourself, and either the chair or deputy chair.
Although David kind of had a rider that you were going to contact. I think David said he would contact.
I mean, I wouldn't notify everybody.
Okay, yeah,
The three or four people we talked about will be the ones who, if we, I mean, we won't. If there was a sudden members of this committee who are not present, or from councillors, we may have to rethink. It's not.
I don't think, but
They'll just be,
it needs,
those who are doing it will be delighted that they're not being asked to do it.
Absolutely.
And the mayor and the deputy mayor will just have to bring and bear it because it comes with secretary.
Well, they can just.
And you and I, you know, kind of took it on and we decided to be involved on this committee.
With the teaching term starting soon, I should imagine it will, I think Ian will probably try the same job, but we need that between them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right, I think we have covered that. That's are the three substantive issues on the agenda. Any other relevant matters?
I mean,
no, it's a different planning meeting.
Yeah, it's a strange meeting in some respects. Just to say, I did have somebody raise with me a concern. We completed works at 1, 2, 3, that, which if you are thinking about it, so go past George, just before you get to the turn to Dr. Joaquin,
Yes.
there is a property which is
Yes.
now sort of, it's not a gravel, it seems to be a very white stone. So more or less the opposite side of the road, well, it is the opposite side of the road to the school. And it is more or less on the zebra crossing. And the person who raised it with me, some taken away. Been down. But yeah, that's still clear. It stops if you can start. Probably clear now. Most of it may have been. They were also rather worried that you could access the drive. Sort of speed run, isn't it? Because there's a raised surface there, and a raised surface.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
And wondered if this had been built in accordance with planning permission.
have they dropped the curb, David? Because I think this is the same one that somebody said to me they are in the top. So that's, they're crossing the highway, they're not, they have to have a drop curb.
I don't think with this.
It's one of the ones I was gonna go and have a look at, actually.
Could you go and have a look at it as well? I looked at it, did it twice, and looked at it again just before I came in and see. Attitude to it was, well, so long as highways intent is there, I don't see there is a plan. I don't think they're complaining to highways if there's not. It will be done properly. But as my attention has been drawn to it, and that's coincidentally, it's quite careless, so please.
Yeah.
We'll take a look, and if it's appropriate, we'll contact highways and take a look, see if there's a problem with it or not.
Happy with that.
And that's Lisa, you got anything?
Just one report, the garages that have got planning permission to be demolished on St Peter's Road. I had a couple of complaints over the last couple of days that the developer is in there not taking particular care of how he's removing the asbestos roofs, so I had to report that to planning enforcement and health and safety or environmental health. So, I did go down to site and say to him, we've had a couple of complaints that they're a bit worried about the way you're doing it, and he said he was qualified to do it, but he wasn't wearing any protective clothing other than a little mask, and he did say, well, I'll finish up doing what I'm doing today, but then I'll leave it for when the skip, because he's got a covered over skip coming today apparently. But I did have another phone call from another concerned resident about what they were doing there, so hopefully enforcement or environmental health will be there, or have been there.
Right, yes, well, thanks for drawing that to our attention.
And the house on the road still
Yeah. We're still waiting on news on that. I think that's the only outstanding enforcement issue. He's still working on it, isn't it? Right, well, we managed to finish it from some idea. We're looking at the agenda. We need to get the planning, 10 minutes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.